You are Locked On Yankees Postcast, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, the Yankees now 2 for 2 in the American League Championship Series here in 2024. Another breezy victory for the Bombers. Now they head to Cleveland, up 2 games to none on the Guardians. Final score in Game 2 tonight from the Bronx, 6-3 over the Gardos. And now the Yanks just 2 wins from the Fall Classic, 6 wins from title number 28. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman. That's Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Yankees Postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The Postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Yankees game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll chat everything Gerrit Cole, who made the start for the Bombers tonight. Didn't go very well for Cole, despite the win. The pen, once again, brilliant. Aaron Judge, welcome to the party. The base running continues to be an issue. We'll break down tonight's blunders on the base paths. And, of course, we'll set you up for games 3 and 4 and possibly game 5 if necessary. That's right. This thing could end in just a couple of days. All that coming up on the Postcast. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, my name is Jay Berman. You can follow me on X at JAYBERMAN. Yanks now 2 for 2, rolling right along. They beat the Guardians tonight 6-3. And we'll start with Aaron Judge, who finally gets off the schneid. Judge with his first home run this postseason, a 2-run shot that pretty much sealed the deal for the Yanks. At the time of the home run of the 7th inning, it was 4-2. This made it 6-2. It was 414 feet, 111 off the bat, his 14th career postseason home run, and hopefully, knock on wood, this is the Judge we'll see the rest of the way. As we said, his first home run this postseason gave the Yankees a 6-2 lead. It came in the 7th inning, the 2-run shot off of Hunter Gaddis, the second best reliever in the Guardians bullpen, of course, behind Clase, their closer. Gaddis has been great. That 1-2 punch of Gaddis and Clase has been great, but obviously Judge was just a little bit better tonight. The support to Gerrit Cole, at least in the beginning of the night, Cole lasted not very long, just 4 1/3, pitched into the 5th inning, needed 89 pitches to record those 4 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned. He walked 4. That was the problem tonight. 4 of the 6 Yankee walks. He did strike out 4, but again, 89 pitches, just 53 for strikes. And again, Gerrit Cole obviously going just 4 1/3 did not figure in the decision. Clay Holmes, once again, right in the thick of things, registers 2 outs on just 10 pitches, and he turns out to be the winner. His second win of the postseason. Luke Weaver did allow a run, did get the final 3 outs, but did not get a save because it was 6-2. The home run, the run he allowed was a home run to Jose Ramirez. Obviously, at that point in time, you're pitching to get outs. You're not fine-tuning anything at that point in time. Throw it over the plate, let him hit it. You've got 8 fielders behind you, or 7 at least. So let him hit it. And basically that was the point. That was the first earned run the bullpen has allowed in this postseason now through 6 games. Of course, 4 with Kansas City, a 3-1 series win for the Yankees, and now the first 2 against the Guardians. Holmes, Hill, Canely, and Weaver got the job done. They combined to just allow 1 run. And again, the final score was 6-3, and we're off to Cleveland for games 3 and 4. We'll set you up coming up. Gleyber Torres had 3 more hits, approaching 300 on the night. On the series. Juan Soto had a hit. Aaron Judge, obviously the home run. Judge also had another a sac fly for the second consecutive game. Amazingly, we talk about Judge busting out of the so-called slump, at least the October slump. Well, he had just one hit tonight. He's now hitting 167 through 6 games of this postseason. But again, the home run puts it on the board, and it basically puts this one out of reach. As we said, it was 4-2 at that point in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Yankees got the job done. They also got the job done against Tanner Bybee, who lasted just an inning and a third. Now, obviously, Stephen Vogt was in a very difficult spot, especially with Cade Smith, his second best reliever, coming out of the bullpen to replace Bybee. But again, he lasted just an inning and a third through just 39 pitches. And for the quote-unquote ace of the staff, we were surprised to see him exit so quickly. So Bybee, Smith, Herron, Morgan, Zabrowski, Avila, Gaddis, and Lively. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pitchers, 7 relievers. No pitcher went more than an inning and 2/3, and that was Cade Smith, who needed just 17 pitches to do so. But again, if your ace, we'll call him an ace for lack of a better term, if your ace can't get through the second inning in basically what is a must-win situation in the championship series, well, perhaps the Guardians are just shorthanded. And you could see it tonight. They just don't have enough top-notch hitters. And don't forget, the Yankees' payroll is obviously much higher than the Guardians' payroll. With that being said, there's some good players there. They're just not enough. And I think that we're seeing that come true, in that the top-heavy Yankees, with the combination of Soto and Judge and Stanton and even Cole, those guys, even with the bad base running, which we'll get to, even with all the walks, which we'll get to, the sloppy play, despite it, the Yanks still have won 6 of 7 games. Have won 2 and 3, 5 of the 6 games they've played in this postseason, which is really tremendous. Again, the one loss in game 2 of the Kansas City Royals division series, but really the Yankees have just been tremendous, despite the fact that they have not brought their A game, specifically speaking, the base running. We've got to talk about it. Jazz finally gets a big hit. That came in the 6th inning. 6th inning that featured just 1 run scoring. Why? Well, Jazz would then get picked off second base after the double. The Yankees would also lose a challenge on the play because Jazz was convinced he was safe. He wasn't. Couldn't tell that there was any evidence to suggest overturning it. Later in the inning, Anthony Rizzo gets picked off between second and third as well. So 2 players picked off on the base pass in the same inning. And that's where the Yankees sloppiness comes in. Obviously, with 6 walks tonight, there was sloppy pitching as well. But again, the Yankees are doing just enough to overcome it. Imagine where they'd be if Aaron Judge began to pick things up and got hot. Wouldn't that be special? Again, 2 hits apiece tonight for Anthony Volpe and Anthony Rizzo. Alex Verdugo pitched in with a hit, as well as Soto and Judge. So again, 3 Yankees had multiple hit nights. Gleyber Torres had 3. Anthony Volpe had 2. Anthony Rizzo had 2. But obviously, the big offensive hit of the night was Aaron Judge. And now we hope he takes off from here. For Judge, as we said, the 14th career postseason home run for him, but just the first here in 2024. Again, through 6 games, and the Yankees have won 5 of them. 3-1 in the division series against the Kansas City Royals, and they're now 2 for 2. They hold serve. They win both home games on the front end of the series, and we head back to Cleveland where we'll set you up for games 3 and 4. We might not even need games 5, 6, or 7, but again, we'll set you up. All right, let's talk game time for a moment. One of my favorite things to do, we've discussed this before, go see live events, be it a game, a concert, whatever. One of my most favorite things to do is go see live events. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. All right, we're back after another tidy little Yankees win, 6-3 this final. And because of it, the Yankees have a 2-0 series lead. The pen continues to be brilliant with the exception of Luke Weaver, who allowed the home run to Jose Ramirez. That was really the only blemish of this entire postseason for the bullpen. Weaver does not get a save because he entered in a 6-2 game. However, Clay Holmes gets the win. Holds for Hill and Canely. And again, the bullpen has been tremendous. We talked about Gerrit Cole didn't have his A game tonight. He was good in his last start against the Kansas City Royals, but obviously he was not effective tonight. 4 1/3, 6 hits, just 2 earned, but he walked 4. He was wild, which is unusual for him. Threw 89 pitches in 4 1/3. 53 of the 89 were strikes. So the split there, not very good. His postseason ERA now 3.31. Clay Holmes, excellent. Tim Hill, excellent. Tommy Canely, excellent. Luke Weaver, will give him a pass on the Jose Ramirez home run. But again, he was brilliant as well. Again, 4 1/3 out of Cole. 2/3 out of Holmes. Hill went an inning and 2/3. Canely an inning and a third. And then Weaver with the final 3 outs in the 9th inning. Again, Clay Holmes gets the win. He throws just 2/3 of an inning. As we told you about Cleveland, well, they're struggling. They're struggling to play good baseball. They made 2 errors tonight that allowed 2 unearned runs to score. One in the first on the drop by Rocchio. And then another in the second, later on in the 6th, on the play by Brennan out in right field, allowing Anthony Volpe, who was hung up between third and home. He eventually scores. So 2 huge unearned runs. There was also the huge spot in the 5th inning when they took out Cole. Clay Holmes comes in, allows 1 inherited runner to score, but with the bases loaded and Austin Hedges coming into the plate as the pinch hitter for Bo Naylor, and Holmes gets the job done, strands the bases loaded, strikes out Hedges to end the frame. And again, a tremendously huge spot there in the 5th inning. And Clay Holmes, amazing, an all-star to banished, back to an incredibly important reliever for the Yankees staff. It really has been a tremendous turnaround, and what a roller coaster season it has been for Clay Holmes. Tanner Bybee, as we said, had a pretty good regular season. We'll call him the ace of the Cleveland staff. The Guardians certainly hope they can see him again in this series because that means they extend it. To be fair, Bybee threw just 39 pitches, 25 for strikes. However, he was in a tough spot. Stephen Vogt, in his ridiculously awkward, and it's not his fault, but ridiculously awkward in-game interview, said they just weren't feeling Bybee at that point. He had just lost it, and it was sort of a guttural thing there for Vogt to go to Cade Smith, who really has been his best middle reliever all season long. He needed just 17 pitches to get 5 outs and sort of calm the storm, if you will. Obviously, the Guardians could not get in striking distance of a tie game. Nonetheless, it was important and a huge spot for Clay Holmes in that 5th inning. Gerrit Cole was 4-0 career in the postseason versus the Guardians, 11-2 lifetime, including the regular season and postseason versus the Guardians. Point being, we expected a much bigger performance from Gerrit Cole tonight. Didn't give it to us. As we said, through 89 pitches, about half of them were strikes. 53 of the 89 pitches he threw were strikes. Amazingly, he only walked 4. He could have easily walked 5, 6, 7, allowed 6 hits, and somehow, with much help to Clay Holmes in that 5th inning, somehow Cole only allowed 2 runs. And they were the only 2 runs the Guardians would score until the 9th inning when Jose Ramirez hit the now meaningless home run. Wasn't meaningless at the time, but again, a home run nonetheless. And speaking of guys that are struggling, we talked about Aaron Judge, who's now hitting 167 despite the big home run tonight. Well, Jose Ramirez had a big home run tonight. He too is hitting 167. Austin Wells, another 0 for tonight. He goes 0 for 4, strikes out twice, now hitting a cool 083. He's going to play, though. He's the cleanup hitter. He's not going anywhere. As we said, Anthony Rizzo had 2 more hits. Verdugo had a hit. Jazz Chisholm did have the double, but he gets picked off second base to erase the good feelings after the double. We point out the double because Jazz is now hitting a cool 130. Only Jazz can make Aaron Judge, who's hitting 167, make him look like a hot hitter. He's hitting 167. Jazz is now hitting 130 after the double. So Judge has nearly 40 points batting average on him through 6 games. And again, 5 of those have been wins. So the numbers might not add up. If I told you Cole would only last 4 1/3. No home runs from Soto or Stanton. Stanton went 0 for 4, by the way, to lower that batting average in the postseason down to 304. So no complaints from Stanton. But again, if I told you all that, you probably wouldn't believe me. But that's how good the bullpen has been, even despite Weaver's home run to Ramirez. Again, Holmes, Hill, Canley, and Weaver. The Yankee bullpen, if you're ever going to get good starting pitching, which they did from Cole in his last start, and obviously Rodon in game number 1, the combination of that bullpen with good starting pitching, and the Yankees just aren't going to lose. Certainly not to Cleveland. Again, they are halfway home to an American League pennant. They need 2 more wins to clinch the ALCS. Those could come in Cleveland. Of course, a day off on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are games 3, 4, obviously 5 if necessary. If the Yankees don't win games 3 and 4, there, of course, will be a game number 5. We'll set you up for games number 3 and 4 as we get off to Cleveland. We'll also talk about the struggles of Gerrit Cole and the lack of struggles tonight for Aaron Judge as he busts out with a huge, huge home run. All right, you've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we've got something just a little bit different for you. All FanDuel customers can bet $5, get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all of September and October. Profit Boost will be live starting on Thursday, 9/12. View your account page now to learn more about your boost. Just visit FanDuel.com. Download America's #1 sportsbook. That, of course, is FanDuel. All right, once again, a 6-3 win for the Yankees over the Guardians tonight, and they have a commanding 2-0 series lead. They hold serve. They take the first 2 in the Bronx, and now it's off to Cleveland for games 3, 4, and perhaps 5. We'll set you up first for game 3, which, of course, will be on Thursday, and that is the early game of the 2 championship series games. Yankees and Guardians at 5 Eastern, game 3, Schmidt and Boyd. Then the National League Championship Series will play under the lights 8 Eastern, Dodgers and Mets in New York. That would be game number 4. As for the Yanks and Guardians, we said game 3, Schmidt and Boyd, 5:08 first pitch on Thursday. On Friday, they flip. The championship series in the National League goes first at 5. Then game 4 of the American League Championship Series, Yankees and Guardians at 8 from Cleveland. And again, that could be an elimination game. That could be a clincher. If the Yankees take game 3, they'll have a chance to put away the Guardians in game 4. Heel and Williams at this point in time are your starters for game number 4. If we get to a game number 5, the spotlight will be on the Yankees and Guardians. No National League Championship Series that day. So the Yankees and Guardians will play a game 5 if necessary Saturday night at 8 Eastern. Back to the top for the Yanks, Carlos Rodon, who of course was brilliant in the game 1 victory. At this point in time, the Guardians are listing Ben Lively as the starter, but if you recall, Lively pitched tonight. In fact, he was the last Cleveland pitcher. He threw 26 pitches, an inning and a third, a hit, a walk, 2 Ks, did not allow a run. That was his first postseason appearance ever. In fact, he was just placed on the roster today. Alex Cobb out with a bad back. He will not pitch again in the postseason. So again, if we make it to game 5, and wouldn't it be nice if we didn't, because then we'd have Rodon in the top of the rotation perfectly set up for games 1, 2 in the World Series, which would obviously begin in the Bronx. But again, that would be game 5, which would be Saturday night, Rodon, and at this point in time, Lively. But again, we're guaranteed to get a Thursday and Friday game. As we said, Thursday's at 5, Schmidt and Boyd. Friday is at 8, Heel and Williams. And then Saturday, if necessary, is also at 8. All right, 6-3, the final score. Gerrit Cole, not great. Aaron Judge, home run. Luke Weaver and company, brilliant once again. And because of it, the Yanks are now 2-0 in the American League Championship Series, leading the Guardians again after the first 2 games in the Bronx. Thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the final fall classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. That's your team every single day. 6-3, the final score. The Yanks beat the Guardians. They're now 2 for 2 in the championship series. They took game 1. They take game 2. Also want to mention before we get out of here, our partners in crime over at the Locked On Yankees podcast. That's Stacey Gotsulias and Brian McKeon. Follow, subscribe, and enjoy. Stacey and Brian do a great job again. They handle all the stuff at Locked On Yankees. All right, Yanks have a 2-0 series lead over Cleveland. As we said, game number 3 will feature Clark Schmidt. That, of course, will come after an off day. Wednesday, the off day. Thursday, Clark Schmidt and Matthew Boyd goes for Cleveland. Yanks again lead it 2-0. After a 6-3 win to please the home folks. All right, we are out of here. 6-3 the final. Yanks lead the series 2-0. We'll be with you once again Thursday night after a game 3, and of course Friday night after a game 4. Who knows after that? All bets are off. Yanks could be in an elimination event, if you will, if they win game 3 and game 4. So that will do it. Have a good night, everybody.